DVDs on to those who requested them. I don't know what they'll do with them. Our leadership for the trio are leaving either late today or tomorrow sometime, and will be in convention in someplace in Texas, Dallas or someplace, for a very large scale meeting. That's basically all I have, other than those. I don't know what they'll do with those DVDs. That's entirely up to them. They may use them as training because they were quality presentations. That's what I have.
And while you're up, you want to introduce your two guests to us, please?
My two guests this morning are daughters, three daughters, plus some sons of Ryan and Jessica Osmondson. Ryan is a representative for some ag products that he sells throughout Montana. Ryan is one of those individuals who got a good start running. I mentored him for as much as I could in Toastmasters and speaking techniques. He went on and he ended up getting himself elected to the Montana State Legislature, where he has served 2 terms. And in fact, this evening he and I will be meeting with Michael Simon from the college, and so he's a very busy man, and he's his older of 2 of 3 daughters.
Good. And Haley and
Hannah and Faith.
Faith, beautiful names. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Pete, VP Education. What type of business do you have to share with us?
We have a meeting scheduled next week, a special unordinary meeting. And sometimes we've done theme meetings for that 5th one. Sometimes we've done speechathons. And I sent out an email to everyone, do you want to do a marathon table topic thing and invite every Toastmaster you've ever met, whether they're from this club or another club, to come and participate in that. And so I just need to know what the club's pleasure is before I establish the schedule.
I think that sounds fun. And you said we'll be in the big room? So
We will be in the
next
big
door?
room. Yeah.
Okay, and that'll be a noon meeting?
Right.
I like the idea. Anybody else?
I think table topics is something that we all use in our everyday life. I think maybe a marathon table topics. Have we ever done them in all meetings? So yeah, I'm in favor of doing a table topics.
We can use this as a preliminary because by the end of March we need to have our local contest in. And let's see, in the spring, which one of the 2 we do? Is it?
Let's see.
We do humorous and evaluation in the fall. So this would be a preliminary thing to bone up, to be ready for table topics. And what's the other? International speaking and table topics.
Okay.
So this would be a nice preparatory thing, and I would strongly support the idea of table topics marathon.
Sounds good. We'll do that then. And you'll send out emails?
I will.
Okay. Thank you, Pete.
And remember, because I don't have every past member on my email, if you do, please go ahead and forward it or send your own.
Sounds good. Thank you. And today our Toastmaster is Virginia. This is her first time, but she will do a wonderful job, as she always does as Toastmaster. Please welcome Virginia.
Morning, this afternoon. I need a speech evaluator for Donna. I need to put your name down here, Michelle. And I'm so glad that Hannah and Faith are here. Are you related to Jen? No, but as friends of his, right? That's good. I'm glad you're here today. And I would like to enjoy each one of you here today. Our speakers today will be Donna and Peggy. Jim's going to be our general evaluator today. And so Jim, would you like to give just brief information on what you will be doing?
I'm watching how everything transpires during the course of this meeting. Actually, I will probably start before the meeting, go through the events of the meeting, how it flows, and then, whether we had successfully terminated or, brought the meeting to a good conclusion, that type of thing. I appreciate the efforts of the evaluators. To me, I think for all of us, that is one of the best things coming out is the feedback we get and suggestions that are offered. Timer, we have Pete on the ball here, and do you know the links of the speeches?
I don't yet. 5 to 7.
1,
6 to
6
8, and
5
Donna?
to 7. 5 to 7.
Okay, we've got that covered. Who is serving as my Wag? I'll let you take over from there, Virginia.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. And who's going to be you're going to be the all-counter too. Our first speaker today will be Donna.
Could we get the word of the day in?
The word of the day, no, we would need it. Thank you.
The word of the day is etiquette. Etiquette, which means the right thing to do in particular situations, such as the right way to behave in church, the right way to behave in school, and we might even think about the right way to behave in Toastmasters meetings. Etiquette.
Thank you. I hope each one of us here will have good etiquette all day today. Okay, our first speaker today is Donna, and she has a canned speech, she says. How to select a speech topic, and hers will be 5 to 7 minutes. Donna will give us suggestions to think outside of the box when selecting speech topics as she presents her version of a canned speech. How to select a speech topic. Please welcome Donna.
What is a canned speech? A canned speech is simply a topic with suggestions to use to help you prepare and create your own speech. The canned speech I'm using today is selecting your topic. Sometimes selecting a topic can be a challenge. We all have times when we're at a loss for ideas. But really, speech topics are endless. Any idea or topic will work. I have a can here today to demonstrate my canned speech. Inside this can, I have several pieces of paper. Each piece of paper has a topic on it. When I pull out the paper, I will read the topic and I will share some suggestions with you. Hobbies, interests. What type of activities do you enjoy? Is it sports, music, or talent? Alan shared his love of music and his electric guitar with us. David gave us different ways to use a GPS. Family, what an easy topic. I often share stories about my family, and Rochelle had us all laughing with the story of her niece learning to drive. Food, now that's a fun topic. Alan demonstrated how to make smoothies, and Virginia made cookies. And the best part about food as a topic is usually samples. Books, magazines, newspapers. Have you read a good article or book lately? Share that information with us. Charities, organizations. Do you belong to an organization? Tell us about it. Jim is on the board of the college, and when the college was looking for a new president, he used that for 2 speeches. One speech to tell us about the presidential search committee, and then another speech a few weeks later to tell us which president had been selected. Personal experiences. Tell us what's going on in your life. I told you about taking care of my neighbor's animals, and Peggy gave great PowerPoint presentations on some of her vacations, one to the south and another to the Panama Canal. PowerPoint is a great way to show your photographs and to share those experiences. People, that could be anyone. It could be presidents, authors, heroes, or just someone who has inspired you. Local events. There is always something going on, whether it's Harvest Fest, Bridge Day, or the local fair and rodeo. Tell us about these events. When are they? Where are they? And what should we do when we get there? Holidays, traditions. There is at least a holiday each month. Pick a holiday and tell us about it. What's the background of it? What makes that holiday special to you? Nancy gave a great speech on her holiday trip, her Christmas traditions. Profession. Tell us about your work. If you need to practice a presentation, feel free to use us as your audience. Lacey gave us important information on the domestic violence program, and Pete has shared very valuable information on marriage and parenting relationship. Last but not least, miscellaneous topics. Well, that could be just about anything. I once gave a difference between incandescent and compact fluorescent light bulbs, and Peggy gave a speech on butter versus margarine. And thanks to Peggy, it has now changed from margarine to butter. So as I mentioned, speech topics are endless. Any idea will work. I've given of topics and suggestions, and I've shared some of the speeches that I've enjoyed. Feel free to use any of these topics to create your own speech. If there's something that inspires you and you want to share that information with us, or if you just need a topic by thinking outside of the box or can.
And our next speaker will be Peggy. Peggy Iva is giving her first speech in the persuasive speaking manual called Planning Your Legacy. She will be giving the speech or changes you recommend tomorrow at the Astona for a Planning Your Legacy workshop, where financial advisor, lawyer, and funeral director will share information. You all are invited to attend this speech. Her speech will be 6 to 8 minutes.
There's three kinds of people in the world. Those that make it happen, those that let it happen, and those that say, what the heck happened? Well, I think you're here today for this Planning Your Legacy workshop because you would like some information on making it happen, making your wishes for when you're gone come true for the long term. So I'd like you to think of Glendive as your adopted child. Besides the family you have, think of Glendive as one more person in the family. Anyone can be a philanthropist. You can make a difference in the town where you work and play and you raised your family, and now maybe you want to give back a little bit. The board of directors of the Greater Glen Foundation would like you to think of Glendive as maybe your adopted child. Our mission is really building a sustainable future for Dawson County. There's many other foundations that can help that happen. I just like you to think local instead of sending it off hither and yon. So we have a college foundation, a medical foundation, the Greater Glendive, which kind of is an umbrella group that can cover many different nonprofit organizations, and the Glendive Education Association or Foundation that is with the school system, and I found out the museum has a foundation of its own, and probably in town has a foundation as well. Foundations take your donations and invest them and or give out the earnings from that. The Greater Glendive Community Foundation started in 2007 after a community successful, and one of those is having a community foundation. So we started one, Glendive, Terry also started one. There's been a study done in 2011 by the Montana Community Foundation that shows we're going to have the biggest transfer of wealth from one generation to the next from now till 2020. Because we're kind of the older state, this is going to be huge, and they've got it down to each county. In county, we will have $94 million transferred from one generation to the next in the next 10 years. If we 5% of that go into community foundations or foundations in Glendive, we would have $230,000 to grant out every year to community projects. Now, in our humble beginnings, we have given out 18,000. $375 freezers and refrigerator. The splash park last year, we did $1,000 for them early on to spur other people to donate to that. The Legion ball field out here now has a roof over the bleachers because we helped. We didn't do it all. But the best part about this is the nonprofit has an investment already. People with a passion, they just need some financing together. It's a really, really a good partnership. So there are many ways to give to make it work. We have Rich Betterman, who will be talking about wills in just a few minutes. You can do something with your finances, and that's something Angie will talk about in a few minutes. And a lot of times in fact, it was from Edward D. Jones. I got a flyer that says, who are your beneficiaries? Look at who you have as beneficiaries. Of course, my kids are going to get my money, but I'm going to give a portion of it to the Greater Glendive Community Foundation as well. It reminds me of the two Harolds. Harold Ullman, who, if you remember him, had bib overalls and shuffled down the street. You didn't think he had a penny to his name, but he left six-figure donations to the Garden Club. You know, he was the owner of the greenhouse here, to the museum, to his church, and the biggest beneficiary was Dawson Community College. That's where the Ullman Center is named after. Harold Wester, another upstanding businessman in Glendive, always with a suit and tie on. And in fact, we rented from him. My first husband was an attorney. And when we're putting up walls, he says, you know, everything that's attached to the walls now belongs to the owner, you know, the rent. You know. I says, we know that, we know that. 6 months after JC died, he sent me a bill for the electricity because we put in an air conditioning unit above. I wrote him a note and I said, Harold, I'm paying this not because I think I owe it. I'm paying it because I'm hoping you pay it forward. Well, he did do $10,000 to the hospital. Millions went to his daughter, who is drinking it away in Oregon. It's sad. It could, so much could have been done because he loved this community. So it's like planning your legacy. You can do it. It isn't that hard. In fact, we've been talking about planned gifts. Greater Glendive Community Foundation. We are under the umbrella of the Montana Community Foundation. They manage our money because we wanted, we're all volunteers. It's about expertise to do it. And the reason we didn't use a local firm is this is going to go on years and years, and that's their expertise. They manage 50 other community foundations as well as close to 600 nonprofits, including the Fort Peck Community Theater, libraries, various places. So they give us incentives every year, and this year they did an incentive for they pay a fourth of whatever you did in a planned gift. I thought, if I'm gonna preach to people about giving a planned gift, I better just try and see how hard this is. Well, it's even online. I called up Emily at the Montana Community Foundation. We printed out the forms. I decided to do the stock. You can pass stock, not taking it personally, it just goes directly to the foundation. And I bought this stock when I was in an women's investment group. It was precision cast parts I paid $13 for it. It's now $259, and so 20 shares I passed, and so I had that a little over 5,000. Montana has the Montana Endowment Tax Credit. You get 40% of that back from a planned gift. So I'm getting 1,800 back from a planned gift, 700 from, I don't have the tax credit, so it's like 2,500 from my $260 original investment in 2001. So it's certainly was a win-win. And my mom did just a charitable gift annuity, and she's getting, the 40% tax credit as well. So there's many ways. You can just write a check. If you're a business, you can write a check and just get a 20% Montana Endowment Tax Credit, which is even above and beyond the federal tax deduction. So when you're planning your legacy, I want you to think of Glendive as your adopted child. We want to sustain Dawson County for the future. So consider Glendive as your adopted child in the future, and I have a little handout to help you remember that. And you are all invited tomorrow at 2 to, it'll be 2 to 4 at the Astoria if you're interested in learning a little bit more. Thank you.
This time I think we have Alan to be table topics person. He likes to make us reach in and pull out something to talk about, right?
You bet.
So I should say, let's welcome Alan.
Anybody who saw that chair fall, I'm kind of like a bull in a china shop, so clumsy as hell, but still happy to be here. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, Faith and Hannah Osmondson, good to have you here. I was asked to maybe tell a joke, and so here goes that. We as humans, we need to laugh. We need to find something that makes us laugh. I've never seen a person who's laughing that's mad. And we need to try to see the humor in us all. We do and say some pretty funny things sometimes, and it helps to make us human. Recently, my family had a family reunion out in western Montana. And we booked this reunion at a big, kind of like a ski lodge. In the wintertime, there's skiing going on, but we reserved this big ski lodge for this big family reunion. Lodge is very, very, very fancy, made out of pine, and one part of the building was glass lined on all 3 sides of this big room. I have a beautiful view of the lake out there, and we were having a good time, and it was letting all of this light come in, and very, very illuminating, just a very nice time. And one of my uncles was kind of wondering about that, and he said to me, yeah, it's nice that we're getting all this light in here, but have you ever thought about when it's nighttime? It's gonna let a whole lot of dark in. So, and the weird thing about it, the funny thing about it, kind of made sense. So that's kind of a scary thing, but got to try to see the humor in everything that we do. So I have some slips of paper with me, and what I'm gonna do is, everybody that does table topics, you are now a news reporter for a local television station. And you pull out a slip of paper and you are described to describe to the audience what the scene is all about. So, Nancy, you'll be the first one. And you are a TV news reporter on the scene.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my topic is traffic is stopped on a busy street because a mama duck and her babies are trying to cross the road. Have you ever seen a duck trying to cross the road? Look at the poor duck. Traffic all over the place, and nobody is willing to stop and help the duck. Why can't somebody in this town stop and help the duck? We have people lined up all the way back to the stop sign and beyond that still won't stop for the duck and the mother. Well, I personally think that we should do something about that. We should now have an animal board associated to help on this project. Anybody who's willing to help, please contact the radio station and the TV station at KXGN, and we will try to get something moving on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Pete, I guess what I'll do is I'll draw one for you so I don't walk all over the room here. You are a news reporter for a local TV station and you are on the scene. Please describe a UFO was sighted by several prominent people here in our community only 10 minutes ago. Pete?
Viewers, did you see that thing in the sky? We have had several phone calls and we need more to verify. What did it look like? What was it? Some say it looked like a UFO, unidentified flying object. We want to identify that sucker. So call in if you took a picture with your cell phone. Email that in. We really need to get going on this. There's not supposed to be anything in the air way out here in eastern Montana. This is big news. You be sure to go ahead and call in and email in any information that you have. We need as many as possible, and give us the location you were at when you saw it so we can triangulate.
Thank you, Pete. I'll take the liberty of drawing for you, Rochelle. You are a news reporter for a local TV station. Describe the following scene. A man just turned a duffel bag with $50,000 into the police department. Rochelle?
Good afternoon, Glendive. This news just in from the Glendive Police Department. A man who's unknown just turned in a duffel bag full of $50,000. His description is at the police department. If you want to call in, they will give you that description because we need to figure out where he found it and the circumstances behind him finding it so that we may work toward finding the owner of this duffel bag of $50,000. Also, if it's not claimed, it needs to be forwarded to him because he will be the new owner of the duffel bag full of $50,000. So if you have a conversation with anybody and they mention to you that they found a duffel bag full of $50,000 and turned it in at the Glendive police station, please have them call in and give their vital statistics so that it may be either forwarded to them or the police can collect the information they need to help in finding the real owner of the duffel bag. Thank you.
Jim, you are a news reporter for a local TV station. Describe the following scene. An elephant has just escaped from the local zoo. Jim?
Breaking news. Well, Glendive, we have a situation in hand. Currently, there is an elephant. That's right, I said an elephant on the loose within the general Glendive community. Don't try to handle this yourself. Please contact law enforcement, and if by chance you have some way of recording this on your cell phone, we would love to see pictures. Please call 911 immediately to report the elephant on the loose. Signing off from I don't believe I ever said this. This is Jim Squires reporting.
Probably have time for a couple more, and I realize that Peggy and Donna have spoken quite a bit, giving their speeches, but if you're willing to be to table topics, I'll have a go at it. Okay, Donna?
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Hi, this is Donna reporting from KXGN. A meteor just hit the tallest building in town. Everybody, get inside your house. Do not leave. Turn the radios on, turn the TV on, but stay in your buildings. Preferably in a safe area, which would be the hallway, maybe a doorway. Stay away from the windows. Keep your radios on, and we will report any latest news we have. Thank you.
Peggy, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You are a news reporter for a local TV station. Describe the following scene. An 80-year-old lady was just caught robbing a convenience store. Peggy?
TV audience, beware. I am reporting from the Whistle Stop gas station here, where just minutes ago, an 80-year-old lady has been reported as stealing money from the Whistle Stop. Please don't try to apprehend her yourself. Do call the police station. Okay. I think it won't be a hard catch. Now, I don't know the situation. She might be in this desperate need, and maybe she was down to her last resort. We have, if that's the case, folks, this is a situation Glendive really does need to address if this is an issue. But let me do an interview with Evelyn Moore at the Whistle Stop. Evelyn, what happened and how is this? Do you have any description? And Evelyn will say, that's right. They have videotapes at the Whistle Stop gas station, so they do already have a description, and we'll be turning that over to the police department. But folks, this is a sorry case when somebody 80 years old has to rob a gas station in Glendive, Montana.
Well, I'm all out of material, and appreciate Donna and Peggy for kind of doubling up on the speaking. Appreciate that so much. And with that, I will hand the lectern back over to Virginia.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed hearing those comments from all these television producers here. Okay, we need to have the general evaluator tell us about different things about the speakers and have him tell us who's going to evaluate the speakers, etc.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Our first speech given by Donna will be evaluated by Rochelle. Would you proceed with your evaluation?
Thank you, Jim. Donna spoke about selecting a topic. As I saw you walk up, you always, of course, are dressed impeccably, so you looked great. Your facial expressions and gestures were appropriate and not distracting to what you were telling us. The material of your speech was very informative. You opened with a very solid introduction and wrapped it up by tying it back to the introduction and letting us know um, about selecting our speech topics. Your voice was very pleasant. Your rate of speaking was perfect. You spoke slowly and clearly. I'm sure everyone in the room understood everything that you were saying. It was a little quiet. This is a small room, and I know there's people next door, so probably was easier to be aware of your volume and wanting to talk a little more quiet. The purpose of your your talk was choosing speech topics. Your purpose was achieved, and I thought your talk was very interesting. The thing I most appreciated about your speeches is you pointed out individual speeches that have been given in the past, some even as far back as maybe a couple of years ago. So I thought that was really a nice personalized touch to your speech and shows just how much you pay attention when you're here. So I thought that was very nice. If I had to pick one suggestion, it would just be to speak a little bit louder. I do have a cold right now, so it could just be me, and it was just me having a hard time hearing you, but that would be my only suggestion. So good job.
Our second speaker, Peggy, will be evaluated by Nancy. Would you proceed?
Peggy gave a speech on planning your legacy. I thought she did fantastic. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was just really overwhelmed with everything that she had to say to us. I thought she was very enthusiastic. She did a great job of showing us what the word etiquette actually means. She did convey to us the board of directors of the Glendive Greater Foundation thought of the entire community and different personalities to see what each one of us can offer the community. Now, each one of us could probably offer the same thing, and she went on to describe what maybe we might be more interested in ourselves. The speaker actually did a very fantastic job of showing us our vision and mission. She did mention that $94 million transferred from one generation to the next, and I guess I was not actually even aware of that amount of money. The speaker did use stories and anecdotes, and she did often mention people's names that give to the community, and she described ways in which they give to the community. She used different kind of gestures and body language to make it more persuasive. The speaker did try to convince us and motivate us to act in many different types of ways. She did mention Harold Almond, how he gave to the college, and also Harold Wester, how he also could probably give even more. I thought the speaker probably could have maybe slowed down just a little bit. She went very, very fast, and then maybe I was trying to write more things down, and so I couldn't write them all down as she was trying to say them. I thought she did a fantastic job, and I really liked the handouts that she gave us. I think it's really great when you give someone a handout or give them something, especially when you're trying to persuade them, something to go back to and look at. And I thought that was fantastic. I thought you did a fantastic job, Peggy.
Thank you. Do you want to call on the WAG, or will you handle that, Virginia? I can handle it now if you choose. You are the WAG. So would you give us the WAG report? Or no, excuse me, Pete is the WAG. So Pete, would you proceed with that report?
Gladly. So far as I could tell, I caught myself and Virginia and Nancy using the word etiquette, and here I go. with it. I noticed we used a lot of good etiquette in applauding the speakers. In respect to the various things that I have to report, I noticed that Peggy had one half of an and uses filler words and then a few times. One of the things that I do that I noticed Peggy did was she reached her conclusion, she said so, and then let it hang, and that may have been a filler word also. Alan is doing really good on his ums. I'm probably doing a sum right now myself, but Alan has cut his ahs to half ahs, and we have only one full ah and three halves. And then, Nancy, I noticed you do something that I do too, and that is sometimes you say give when it should have been gave in the past. And Nancy had only one kind of little half so that's good as well. Times were Donna's speech was legal 4 minutes 43 seconds. And Peggy's was 8 minutes 20 seconds. So both were within the guidelines of their limits, and very well done there. Virginia was at a loss for a word only once in her debut as Toastmaster, and Donna used the word can very effectively. And other than noticing a lot of smiles, encouraging, and clapping among us as Toastmaster etiquette, that concludes my report on that part of the meeting. The evaluations, Rachel was 1 minute 30 seconds, which is about perfect. They're supposed to be 1.5 to 2.5 minutes, and Nancy's was 2:22. Very good. And table topics, Nancy was 1:14. I was 51. Rachel was 1 minute 02. Jim was 47, Donna was 24, and Peggy 1:18. Well done. And perhaps you should send votes to me because Virginia's being Toastmaster. Yo, good. All right, she's ready to go. She multitasks. She multitasks.
Thank you, Pete. It's amazing how much happens here that is being observed. And I would, as your final comments as a general evaluator, point out that this meeting has gone very well. But I think it's gone very well because of the preparations that were made. Pete is so good about, and then Alan followed up with an email that, just acknowledging something. Those things going on before set the tone for our successful meetings. This meeting has flowed very well. I love the table topics, and I'm looking forward to next week of really challenging ourselves with table topics. It truly is something that we use on the job or at home or in whatever situation we happen to find ourselves. Thank you, evaluators. You still find suggestions, and that really makes for a takeaway for virtually every person here. Those are the things that I have noted. I love it when we have a word. I have one question. I say etiquette. I heard etiquette. Now, somebody tell me which is the preferred pronunciation.
I say etiquette, but that doesn't mean it's right.
This is a common problem, and it's not limited to English alone, because I've heard the same thing, questão or questão in Portuguese for question. And it's a very common thing. But anyway, just something to leave, and I'll conclude then with that. And back to you, our Toastmaster.
That was very good. I will tell you who our winners are today. Better find the tags here for you. Our best speaker, I get one of them. You don't want to separate. But you never have problems with that probably either. But that's okay. And I need evaluator. Do we have best evaluator ones?
Yes.
Here, I'll let you go that in there. Yes, I got table topic, speech. The other best evaluator. Page 10. Okay. Our best speaker today is Donna. It's not a speaker. Thank you, Marie. Our best evaluator today is Rochelle. And our best table topics person, who do you think it was, Pete? Pete. That is very good. Do we have any other things that we need to talk about before our meeting closes?
I would just suggest that when we have our executive meeting, that we plan our calendar for those speech contests.
But we will have a meeting next week, you say?
Yes, yes.
Next week.
Next week.
And that is
That's the table topic marathon.
marathon, okay.
How should we handle the table topic? Should everybody bring one, or Pete, did you want to bring your list, the
Those cards.
cards that you have, or?
We could do those cards, or everyone could bring one, whatever you please.
Let's try the cards.
Okay, we haven't done those new ones yet. Okay,
That works.
Then nobody's got a bias.
there you go.
Okay. Well, aside from that, I don't know that we have anything else to discuss. So we can close our meeting a few minutes early today, which is very unusual at times. Sometimes it's right at the very second, and sometimes it goes over a few minutes. So have a good afternoon, and next week we'll get together over here.
Okay, thank you, Virginia.
Do you have those books that, do you still have those books that, that one book that
I think so.
Okay, because I've got two, but I'm gonna be working on that, those additional projects so it can
Okay.
make
yeah,
that application.
Sure.